Good evening and welcome to a very special edition of the TBT News Hour. Special by virtue of what you see in front of you, perhaps the preeminent professional trophy in North American sports today, Lord Stanley's Cup, and of course the star forward of the Chicago Blackhawks, who's made it possible for us to share in this fun time, Patrick Sharp. Patrick, welcome and thank you very much for being with us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
You just come from an extended session down at the Fort William Gardens. I know hundreds upon hundreds of fans lining up to get a moment with the Cup. Tell me, why is it so important for you to share this with the people of Thunder Bay?
Oh, it's great. It's always exciting to bring the Cup back to Thunder Bay. I'm fortunate that this is my second time to do it, and I've always said that I'm proud to be from the city. I'm grateful for all the support that the fans have given me. I come from a great family that spent a lot of time here in Thunder Bay, so to spend a few hours at the Fort William Gardens and shake some hands and take pictures is the least I can do.
You mentioned, of course, this is the second time in 4 years. Let's talk about the journey to get here. Is the second time around any different from the first?
A little bit different. The first time, so many emotions during the Stanley Cup playoffs. You're riding highs and lows on every goal and every win, every loss. This time I feel like I've been deep in the playoffs a few times, obviously winning it before. Your emotions kind of stay even keeled. So you kind of respect and know what lies ahead, and you know how much work it takes.
A little older, a little different sense of appreciation perhaps?
Absolutely. It's fun to win it. It's always great to hoist over my head. I've worked my whole life to win that trophy, so whenever I can grab a hold of it, it feels great. But as soon as you win that trophy, it's not really about you anymore. It's about my parents that helped me get there. It's about my wife, my older brother, all the people that have supported me and helped me get to the place that I am today.
It's been a banner year for Patrick Sharp. Stanley Cup, of course, being a big part of it. The invitation to the Olympic camp. We're also going to throw in the addition of your firstborn. Tell me, would you rank them? Can you rank them?
It's tough to do that, Professionally, it's been a fun time playing for the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm blessed to be a part of that organization. 2 cups in 4 years is pretty special. I'm happy that I can be a part of both of them. And then in my personal life, I couldn't be happier. I come from a great family, as I mentioned. My wife and I are expecting our second daughter in October, and our first daughter, Madeline, is almost 2 years old now, and she's just a joy every day.
Let's talk about the whole Olympic tournament or the Olympic camp experience. You head off in about 3 weeks time for that. Thoughts and expectations heading in? Yeah,
it's a personal goal, no question about it. I've had the opportunity to play for Hockey Canada twice before in the World Championship situation, and it's always a lot of fun to put the jersey on. Obviously, when you talk about some of the quality players that our country has, I'm just honored to be on the list, but I'm going to do everything I can to make that team.
Let's look ahead now to next year with the Hawks. Salary cap, of course, is probably the preeminent factor in keeping a team together these days. The team has managed to do a sterling job in doing that this time around. Your expectations going into next season, can we expect more of the same from the Hawks going through?
I hope so. There was a lot of talk about Stanley Cup hangover, and it's tough to repeat as champions. In 2010, we lost half our team because of the Stanley Cup or the salary cap issue. So we got a number of guys returning next year. Looks like we're going to have the same team in a lot of key areas. As long as we're healthy and motivated, I don't see why we can't be back here again.
Patrick, we want to thank you for joining us. We understand there are a number of demands on your time, so allowing us a few moments to share it with the folks of Thunder Bay has been very, very generous of you, and we're grateful. Thank you once again.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here, and like I said, thank you to the city of Thunder Bay for all the support over the years.
And as a Hawk fan, I'll be counting on that 3rd cup next year. Now let's go back to Holly on the desk for the rest of today's news.
Patrick Sharp fulfilled another dream this past season, winning a gold medal with Team Canada at the Sochi Olympics. He scored a key goal against Latvia in a game which otherwise might have become a historic upset. Sharp was a top 10 scorer throughout the NHL season and basically played his way onto the team. He admits that was a personal goal of his after watching Canada win gold in 2002 and then again in 2010.
I saw a lot of my teammates, a lot of my friends playing in 2010, and I certainly felt left out that I wanted to be there. So for 4 years, I worked as hard as I could to play my way onto that team, and to be named to Hockey Canada was a huge honor. I know they could take any number of players in the league, but it feels good to be on that team and win a gold medal.
Thunder Bay's Patrick Sharp.
It's a kind of a weird experience. Things are going full bore in the game, and you're thinking hockey, and all of a sudden it finishes, and you're celebrating with your teammates, but you're also thinking of all the people that helped you get to the place that you are, miles away.
Believe it or not, Sharp put the gold medal away right after Sochi and left it with his family all this time. He finally reunited with it last week during the George Jeffrey Children's Center fundraisers.
It was the first time, to be honest with you, pulling it out at the George Jeffrey Center and showing the kids and the people there. Hadn't seen it since then, so it was, certainly brings back a lot of great memories. The fact that Haley Irwin has been a part of the experience, not only here at the event yesterday at the George Jeffrey Center, but throughout the whole Olympic experience, at the orientation camp throughout the season, and definitely in Russia. It feels good to share it with another person from Thunder Bay.
The one prize that eluded Sharp last season was his third Stanley Cup, as the Chicago Blackhawks lost in Game 7 of the semifinals to the LA Kings. But he says the season was still an enjoyable one, and with 34 goals and 78 points, Sharp had his best season statistically at age 32.
Looking back on it, it was a fun season. We got a lot accomplished in Chicago, career numbers individually, and a goal away from being back in the Stanley Cup final, which is tough to do back-to-back years. But all in all, I think we can be proud of what we accomplished. In Chicago, our expectations are pretty high, and we know that going to next year, we want to get back in that Stanley Cup final and bring another cup home.
Jonathan Wilson, TBT Sports.